Lesson 67, Discourse Markers in Spoken English. Hello, and welcome to this lesson. Today, we are going to learn useful discourse markers for organizing conversations, changing direction, introducing explanations, expressing contrast, gaining time, and showing how we feel about what is being said. A. What are discourse markers? Discourse markers are expressions that organize, comment on, or frame what we say. They help listeners understand how one part of a conversation relates to another. One common discourse marker is well. For example, so, you live in Boston. Well, near Boston. Here, well shows that the speaker is not giving the expected answer. The person does not live exactly in Boston, so well introduces a slight correction and changes the direction of the conversation. Teachers often use right and okay to organize what happens in a classroom. For example, right, let us have a look at exercise 3. Okay, let us have a look at exercise 3. B. Organizing a conversation. Several common expressions help speakers move through the different stages of a conversation. Now can introduce the next topic or activity. For example, now, what shall we do next? So can move the conversation towards a suggestion or request. For example, so, would you like to come to the table now, please? Words such as good, well then, and then can help move from one stage of a conversation to another. For example, good, I will ring you on Thursday, then. Well then, what was it you wanted to talk about? The expression now then is often used by someone who is controlling the conversation, such as a teacher. For example, now then, I want you to look at this picture. The expressions fine and great can help bring a conversation or meeting to a close. For example, fine, let us meet again next week, then, shall we? Great, let us meet again next week, then, shall we? After an interruption, so, where was I? Helps the speaker return to the main topic or story. For example, so, where was I? I was telling you about my aunt. C. Modifying and commenting on what you say. Discourse markers can also add a comment, introduce an afterthought, or show how the speaker feels. The expression mind you introduces an afterthought and often has a meaning similar to however. For example, it is cold, is it not? Yes. Mind you, it is November, so it is not surprising. The phrase let me see gives the speaker time to think or search for information. For example, what is her number? Let me see. I have it here somewhere. The words listen and look can introduce an important point or a suggestion. For example, it is quite a problem. Listen, why do you not let me sort it out? We could also say, look, why do you not let me sort it out? The expressions hang on and hold on are used when someone wants to prevent another person from interrupting. For example, and he said he was going to. Well, that is typical. Hang on. Let me tell you what he said. We can also say, hold on. Let me tell you what he said. D. Explaining and clarifying. The expression you see introduces an explanation. For example, I cannot do that. You see, I am not the boss here. The phrases you know and sort of often appear when a speaker hesitates. For example, he was, you know, sort of just standing there. The expressions kind of and like can show that a speaker is uncertain about the best way to describe something. For example, he was wearing this kind of cowboy hat. We can also say, he was wearing this, like, cowboy hat. The expression I mean helps a speaker clarify exactly what they are trying to say. For example, we should not be too hard on him. I mean, he is only a child. Changing or closing the topic. The word anyway often shows that the speaker wants to change the subject or bring the conversation to an end. For example, so, that is what we have to do. Anyway, I will ring you tomorrow. Showing contrast. The word still and on the other hand introduce an idea that contrasts with what was said before. For example, It rained all day yesterday. Still, we cannot complain because it was fine all last week. We can also say, it rained all day yesterday. On the other hand, we cannot complain because it was fine all last week. Listing reasons in informal speech. In informal spoken English, people sometimes use letters to organize a list of reasons or points. For example, why are you not going this evening? Well, first, I have not got any money, and second, it is too far anyway. In casual speech, the speaker may use the letters A and B instead of saying first and second. Listening for discourse markers. Discourse markers can be difficult to hear when people speak very quickly. However, they become easier to recognize when you are relaxed and listening carefully. When speaking directly with another person, or when listening to informal English on the radio, on television, or in a film, try to notice expressions such as well, so, right, okay, mind you, you see, I mean, and anyway. These expressions help reveal how the speaker is organizing the conversation and what they intend to say next.